I believe, has been greatly under represented. I mean, I think it's been a hell of a lot higher in so many things that we need, like healthcare, education, food, energy. Those things are up huge. I mean, and also the regulatory capture creates artificial inflation in these groups. So it's not like, this nonsense 3% figure. It's a lot higher than that. And so people really feel the pinch of inflation. I mean, if it really only 3%, people wouldn't really be complaining, but it's much higher. I mean, just look at the cost of a burger, over the last few years, or the cost of food at a restaurant. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say, yeah, prices are a hell of a lot higher than 3% annually. But the flip side to all this argument, which makes it really interesting, is that AI creates deflation. AI is creating so much, the key word here is supply side deflation, meaning there's so much more being created and developed. You're getting an overshoot of supply that is overshadowing demand. That's a luxury problem. Every time in history, if you go back to the last 200 years, every time we had a tipping point in technology, whether it was through agriculture, whatever it was, Renaissance, you're getting deflationary years where prices are dropping, sometimes, typically 1% to 3% or more a year, sometimes several percent, and the economy is booming. Now, when people think of deflation, what do they think about? They think about the Great Depression and how no one could afford anything, and it was a horrible time, and it was a horrible time. Of course, it was a horrible time, but that was demand side deflation. No one had money to buy stuff, so the prices had to drop. That is the worst situation an economy can possibly be in. The best situation is the flip side, is supply side deflation, which is what Elon said he believes we'll reach that point in less than 3 years, given the pace of AI advancement. And there's so many aspects of AI that are doubling as quick as every 3.5 months, which is insane to the brain. Every 3.5 months, something doubles. Well, that's why AI is changing so fast, because it's the level of compute, the level of coding, the level of name it. These doubling, not everything's doubling that fast. Some things are doubling every 6 months, but that's still an incredible fast pace that we've never seen in any technology before. That's why I think it's really throwing people's models out of whack. So OGs that are used to, relying on what history has shown in the past are dumbfounded. They don't understand how can unemployment be so weak and inflation, all these metrics are wrong. And it's a perfect storm for the Fed to do the wrong things because they mischaracterize or misunderstand the true nature of what's really going on. And yeah, I think that it's actually a golden age is coming toward us. I know that, people have talked, AI bubble, this and that, everything's priced to perfection. Well, actually what's happening is AI is creating so much more productivity and so much more supply than predicted that these earnings are booming. They continue to boom. They continue to trounce expectations. And I don't see that, that going away anytime soon. I mean, there are bottlenecks that could crop up. I think the first bottleneck will be a hardware bottleneck, but I think that's still a couple years out. And like we said, in 2 years, with the doubling effect every 3.5 to 6 months, 2 years is an eternity. There's so much stuff that can take place in AI growth and progression over the next 2 years. And to the point where AI teaches AI, and on, where future bottlenecks, like a hardware bottleneck, maybe we solve it before then. Maybe we push the bottleneck out so that any kind of bottleneck, it doesn't happen in 2 years. Maybe it happens at 4. Maybe it's ad infinitum because we continue to innovate at such an accelerated pace. We're able to forecast and prevent a bottleneck from happening. Now, I mean, of course, these are this is an ideal situation I've just described, and the world is far from ideal.
People need to hear an ideal situation right now. That is the most positive outlook for the future that I've heard in a long time. And that's not what you're hearing online on podcasts and in any other spaces. People need to hear that regardless, I'm going to say this, regardless of what actually happens. Because this like doomsday thinking, let's say they're right. Like, let's say people are right about AI. It's like the worst thing possible. All that's going to do is completely destroy people emotionally, intellectually. They're not going to get anything done to prepare themselves for a future. And this is where I go to. Thinking positively about the future and your circumstance serves you no matter what happens.